Oh my God. My stuff's not working right. Hello. Okay, I had some technical difficulties earlier. Meaning, what does that mean? Meaning my damn PC crashed. And I can't put up with it, man. Why does stuff not work right? I don't know. Okay. Well, what are we talking about here? We're talking about how to back up your DVD collection. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's not that complicated, actually. And, you know, I'm one of those people that believes you should be able to back up your stuff, right? I mean, you own it. So if you believe in that, watch this. If you don't, don't. But I'm backing up things I own. So, for instance, what we're looking at right now, the Larry Sanders Show. Oh, sorry about that. Larry Sanders Show. My DVDs. If you haven't seen my video on how to store a DVD collection in much less space, then check it out. It's on my channel. It's basically an efficient way to store DVDs. But what this video is going to be about how to back up your DVD collection. And I really think it's worth checking out. So, how do we back up a DVD collection? Well, a few different things have to happen. Number one is that the DVDs have to have their protection removed, because all DVDs, not all, most DVDs have a protection on them. Now, that can range from anywhere from false indexes to false menus to incorrect chapters. So you think you're ripping the movie and it rips something entirely different, different titles. So what we need to do is use something like this software. What this is called AnyDVD. It's basically software that allows you to rip a DVD and remove the protections. So you can see here, for instance, you got remove annoying clips from menus, remove annoying titles shorter than 5 minutes. You got different settings in here to remove regions, software region code, etc., etc., etc. So, should you remove all this stuff? Yeah, I just usually leave the defaults checked. Subtitles, I don't change that. And then it builds CSS keys for things. These are all titles I do own back here. So, we can go through them all if we want. But the reason I do this is because I rip the DVD to usually about a 1 gig file. And then I have a box in my living room that has almost my whole collection on it. And I watch my movies that way because I can watch them in multiple rooms, because I have them on there. And then I access them from an Amazon Fire Stick running Kodi, Kodi. Kodi. All right. So what does this afford me? Well, for one, I don't have to move a DVD between rooms. Number two, my DVD doesn't get scratched accidentally. And number three, 2 people can watch the same movie at the same time in different rooms. Is that something that happens? Yeah, that's something that can happen. All right. So hopefully everything's displaying okay. If this is displaying backwards or whatever, then I'll have to fix it another time, because from my side here, everything looks okay, I think. I don't know, but we'll find out. Anyway, so what I want to do here is I want to leave everything as is, and then I want to flip over some other software. So let me switch here to the other piece of software here, which is called Vidcoder Beta. Now, Vidcoder is pretty nice software. What this does is basically there's a regular version too. And Vidcoder allows me to select how I want to rip the source material. So we're going to just have it do a scan. And what it's going to do here is going to go through the DVD of the Larry Sanders Show Season 1 from Mill Creek. And Mill Creek, if you're watching, I'd love to check out your stuff. Send me samples, please. I got a whole 150 subscribers. All right. So, so what do you do? Well, once it scans it here, which it's about to finish, ta-da, file's done. All right. So what does it do? You can see all the different titles. And you can see up here, there's like a preview where I can see some scenes from that title. And this is pretty easy. Each episode is broken up into 4 parts here. You can see part 1, 2, you could just say 2 to 2, which is this segment. 3 to 3 is that segment. And then there's 4. 4 to 4 is nothing, because you would go 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. All right. Anyway, and some titles, like a lot of the Smoke Creek stuff, is just unknown closed caption, unknown audio, English closed captions, which if you rip them, they can look like subtitles because you don't have the black background or whatever. You can rip them as subtitles. Cody will read them like they are subtitles, which is great. What I would say, the first thing to do is make sure your settings are right. Now, I have made my own settings, and I have 2 main ones I use: DVD Rip Pro and DVD Rip Pro TV. What is the difference? Well, TV really is for interlace stuff. And a lot of DVDs, you'd be surprised how many. A lot of DVDs are interlaced. And what happens when you got that is you get that kind of the tearing, I guess it's screen tearing, when somebody's running to the left or right or something, or there's fast motion, and it just looks horrible. If you go and do a de-interlacing when you're encoding, what it does is it almost think of it turning it to progressive, so that all 480 lines vertically, or horizontal lines, are basically there instead of every other line. So really on 480 interlaced, which is every other line, you only have really 240 lines of information. You don't have all 480. And then 480 progressive, you have all 480, which is what you want. That's the best DVD can do, 480 progressive. So for the interlace stuff, I have the following settings. And I don't know if those are coming up. It doesn't look like that stuff's coming up. So let me just go and flip to the entire screen. Boop. There we go. There we go. All right. So what I do for this is I rip my stuff as MKVs, including chapter markers. For sizing, I just leave it as no cropping. Sizing 720 by 480. I say downscale only, use anamorphic. Video filters. Now here's the big part. De-interlace, I say decomb, preset, default, and default. And I don't denoise, I don't sharpen, I don't detelecine. I basically go and I just leave those as off. Let the source material be a source material. Over here, though, I do use a constant frame rate and a constant quality of 22. They say here, basically, higher quality is going to be a lower number. And think of this almost like how much to compress it. That's kind of what I think of it like. I don't know if that's 100% right, but that's what I think of it like. Now, you can do a fast decode, and it'll go so much faster, but you won't get the best quality. You'll end up with either worse looking stuff, or you'll end up with bigger files. Now, you can see here, I have this set to basically trade off compression efficiency against encoding speed, and I let mine go very slow almost. Even at this setting, my PC's CPU just goes on ping, maxes out. And the reason it does that is my PC is from 2009. So if your computer is anywhere newer than 2009, you will be fine. Audio encoding, I let these pass through. Let me see if I have this in a better spot. I wish this would display bigger. But unfortunately, wait, can I zoom? But basically, I allow audio pass-through for everything and codec pass-through up here. The reason I do all of that is because I just want it, if I have DTS source, I want it to be a DTS on the way out, AC3 in, AC3 out, Dolby 2, surround, Dolby surround out. So with all of that, I save that. And the only difference between that and, oops, I'm opening that again. Only difference between that and pro in my settings is in the video filters, I just have de-interlace turned off, as you can see here. Everything else is done the same. 22, everything. I mean, everything is exactly the same. So what do you get out of this? You end up with files, varying sizes. Episodes of TV shows anywhere from, about 200 to 300 megs. So that's like for a half-hour show. For a movie, you're typically around 1 gig for a 1 to 2 hour movie. You're up around 1 gig to 1.5 gigs. But the quality is great, and the ease of use is great. Now, after I have all these, I copy them onto my hard drive that's hooked up to the PC in my living room, and I just have a tiny little crappy old HP PC, tiniest little thing. And what do I do with that? Well, I have an 8 terabyte hard drive attached to it, external. And what that hard drive is doing is it stores everything. And I have things just sorted out by movies, TVs, etc. Now, after this, it would kind of become almost a guide to using Kodi, but it can become a guide also to, setting all of the shares up and everything, because not everybody knows how to do network shares, especially SMB shares, which is what Windows kind of uses, because you have to do a lot of stuff to share these files, because Windows, and I do mean every damn time you update Windows, it feels like it resets the settings to turn back on, requiring login, basically a username and password to access your files, even though the last time you turned on network sharing, you turned that darn feature off. So now, if you have a NAS, an NAS, you could just have the files accessible on there, and you don't have to deal with Windows at all. But I do it through Windows sharing, and everything's accessing that hard drive in the living room. I have Amazon Fire Sticks hooked up to my TVs in each individual room, and all of the things are just accessing that single hard drive. So when I go and click encode here, it's just going to start. One thing I can tell you about to find out if a disk is interlaced or not, sometimes you get lucky going through these pictures or doing the preview and looking at the pictures here and seeing if they look like there's lines when you're looking at different clips. And see this? See how that looks? You see those lines right there? Hopefully you can see those, how this is like kind of like transparent. Watch when I switch the setting here. See that? That's the difference between interlaced and de-interlacing. So it's not perfect, right? But maybe there's another shot here we can find where it'll have the lines. It's usually motion that causes it. So nope, I think this was the only one, but watch this difference. Boom. So that's what you're looking for when you're trying to pick between the two. I'll probably try to put these settings down in the description of the video if I get a chance later on. But let me know if there's anything else you want to know. What I do for episodes is each episode's usually a separate title, as you can see here. Sometimes you'll get really cheaply made DVDs where one giant title is multiple episodes, and there you have to do chapters. So you'll do chapter 1 to 3 would be episode 1, and then 3 through 6, or whatever would be, or 4 through 6, 3 through 6, yeah, 3 through 5 would be 2, and then 5 through 7 would be episode 3, etc. But here you can see this is 13 episodes of the show on one disc, hopefully dual layer. From there, you just let it go, and it'll rip it, and it'll do a good job of it. I've had, great success. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings. If you use this method, the software, AnyDVD and Vidcoder together, let me know if you're running into any problems or want any advice, or if there's any advice you can give me about things I'm doing. Maybe I'm doing things in a crappy way that I doubt it, but no, if you do know anything, let me know, and that would be great. Join or don't join. I don't charge for my stuff, even though it's great material. Subscribe if you like the content here. Definitely give me a thumbs up if this video helped you out. I know I can be long-winded. I am trying to get better at that. But thank you for joining me. I hope you learned something, and join me next time. I have a lot of new finds to show. I had a little bit of a road trip. I went out on vacation somewhere and brought back a bunch of stuff, none of it being COVID. So see you next time. And remember, don't quote us. See ya. Da, 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 da.